Hi, come on in. When did I start painting? When I was 3.
Really? You still got the painting?
Well, my parents had them. I don't know what happened to them. They must be in England somewhere. I don't know what happened to them, but I've seen them. They're not bad for a 3-year-old.
And you stuck at it ever since?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
In fact, my grandfather, when I was 10, I won a painting competition in the Bahamas, because we were living in the Bahamas, and I painted this picture of I painted a landscape of a prominent building there, and it got into the local show, and I think I won an award for it, as I recall. Anyway, my grandfather just happened to be visiting. I hadn't only met him twice in my life, but that second time he came to the Bahamas, and he said to me, "You're going to go to art school." And I remembered that. Paintings to me are problems to be solved. I work very instinctually, so I don't really know where they come from at all, or how they actually get here, really. I just start thinking about things, and in the process of trying to work out what those thoughts are, the images take place. And in the process of trying to paint the images, they become the images that you actually get to see.
One big theme in the painting that we worked on together, which was
The SS officer and the skeleton.
yeah,
Is was will be.
The Holocaust is a theme of a lot of your paintings. What's that all about?
Oh, well, both of my parents were survivors, and I couldn't even begin to paint about it until around 1998. 1996, I think I did my first Holocaust piece. It's such a huge subject, and it's so totally close to me and personal. My childhood was totally dominated by it, and I think that the only people who really understand are children of Holocaust survivors. But I felt that the only way that I could actually find some sort of healing for myself was to paint about it, and to try and explore in paintings the different aspects that I turned over in my mind over the years of growing up. The Holocaust is an impossible thing to understand. It's impossible. People didn't understand it before the war, people didn't understand it during the war, and people don't understand it after the war. It's impossible to understand. But what I'm trying to do is make paintings of different aspects to do with my understanding of the meaning of it. The whole problem about painting about the Holocaust is it's such a cliched thing. It's so cliched. There's been so many movies, and people have seen so many photographs. It's impossible to approach the subject without meeting the cliched responses to it since 1945. So just for me to paint about it, I try and go back to the sources of the questions that I have. For instance, the cans that are part of this triptych that I painted, that I'm hoping to have in my show in October. Well, it just dawned on me one day that there must have been these huge piles of cans everywhere, and I've never seen a photograph of them. When you see the photographs from the liberation of the camps, there are no cans. What did they do with them? Did they bury them? Did they cart them away? Where did they go? There must have been thousands of them. And they were toxic, so they couldn't just, take them to the landfill. So that's why I painted a pile of cans, and of course every can represents dead people. So the very entrances of the cans in the painting, the dark circles, the dark eggs, if you like, the black eggs, in themselves have a meaning. And through exploring the image, that's how my paintings grow.
How are you now with the paintings for this show?
Well, I'm panicking as usual.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is blank walls. I'm really hoping that's not going to happen. I have that huge painting back there to finish. It's 12 feet wide.
What is this called?
It's called Those the River Keeps, and I've been working on that project for 4 years.
Those the River Keeps, and what's it about?
What's it about? It's about my relatives who weren't buried, basically. I started thinking about my relatives, of which there are several hundred, who were not said goodbye to, they were not buried, they're just ash. And I feel like they need to be said goodbye to. They're hovering still. I feel them in me. And I felt it was necessary to try and paint something about that. So what you have is a group of concentration camp inmates in a boat floating. It could be the river Styx, I don't know. But they're not there and they're not here. And they're waiting. They're waiting to be allowed to leave.
Do you think this is a theme you're going to be working on for the rest of your life?
Absolutely. I think I've been working on it all my life. I think everything I've ever painted or drawn has been influenced by it.
So we've got another one here, don't we, as well?
Yes, it's called Night Games. It's just about to happen. The still life with the teddy bear and the drawing of the man in the doorway is part of the same painting. I just imagined an SS officer in the middle of the night hearing a noise, and on the floor are going to be some children's toys, and it's all very dark. There's just this shaft of light. So the doorway is very lit, and there's a shaft of light coming across the table. I've always wanted to paint a contre-jour painting, which is a term for against the light, painting that you do against the light as opposed to in the light. And so this gave me an opportunity. I mean, I get bored very easily with painting, and which is why I can't really do series of things. I always admire artists who can paint the same thing over and over and over again, because I just can't. I'll do a painting and I'm already bored with the subject. I mean, I've explored it and that's it, I've done it. So I set myself these problems, like I wanted to see what happened if I made an orange painting. What do you do when you paint an orange painting? What do you paint on top of it to counteract the orange? So, and before that, last year I painted a purple painting. I just wanted to see what happens when you paint a purple painting. And in this case, I'm exploring, the idea of painting something that's in a completely dark room with a very strong shaft of light in it. So we'll see how it progresses. I don't know.
So that's in part the one over there with the guy.
That's a study for it. Yes,
yeah.
That's a study for the man in the doorway. Well, I hope you'll come and see the show in October, if you're here. I certainly would like anyone who happens to be coming near Santa Fe to come see it. It'll be on from October the 1st to the 31st, and it's at Scotia Gallery on Marcy Street in Santa Fe.